Yo, what up, guys? Pay attention. This is Keto with Psychopath Exposure. We're going to be talking about why the brain makes all these associations with music, with faces that look familiar, right? Places that you go to. Why all those things are associated with the narcissist and why it just sends you spiraling back down. Someone left a comment the other day. It was kind of funny because they go, when I'm walking through Walmart and a song comes on that makes me think of him. And then the knife gets pushed further in when I see someone that resembles him. FML. Now they're referring to after you've exited the toxic relationship with your abuser, with your narcissist, and you're in a sad place. You're trauma bonded. You're still confused. The fog is still around you. You don't really understand narcissist personality disorder yet. You don't understand narcissistic abuse yet. You're stumbling upon these videos somehow, some way. They're popping up, and you're watching them. You're resonating with them, right? You're like, that sounds like my story. That sounds like me, but it doesn't cure. It doesn't cure the condition. So you're walking around like a zombie. You're walking around ruminating all day, creating scenarios in your head like if your narcissist ex is going to come back, and they're going to come back with their tail between their legs. They're going to apologize, make amends. They're going to change, and life is going to be good. Because at that moment, when you're traumatized, when you're trauma bonded after a discard from a psychopath, from a narcissist, from toxic people, from a user, because these people, that's exactly what they are. They're users. When you're in that situation, your brain is convinced that the only thing that can fix or cure that condition is to reunite with your very abuser. It's like the Stockholm syndrome where you fall in love with your abuser. That's what it feels like. And your brain is just replaying the tape, ruminating, creating all these situations that are not going to come true. If anything, you may attract some warped version of that facade reality that you're idealizing in your head, because that's what it is. It's an idealization, but it's not going to end well, and it's not going to be the way you think. It's not going to go the way you hope. But you're walking around like a zombie and you're moping. And you're walking through Walmart and a stupid song pops up on their stupid playlist. And it feels like that knife just gets pushed deeper and deeper, right? Well, no. Let me tell you, you can stop that from happening right now. All you got to do is stop going to Walmart. Stop going to Walmart. And stop listening to stupid music. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. It doesn't get any easier than that. But if that's not going to work for you, okay, then I got some other alternate solutions. First, you have to understand the way the brain works. Now, I'm not gonna spend 2 hours explaining to you all the science of how the brain, but I'm just gonna keep it in layman's terms. The brain makes associations, kind of like a chain, right? It doesn't look like a chain, but one thought is linked to another thought, is linked to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, to another thought, and more thoughts spring from those things. I should probably draw on the screen or something, but hopefully you catch my drift. So if you wanted to delete a memory, for example, if you wanted to delete the narcissist from your head, well, guess what? Every memory you have of the narcissist is already attached to another memory, and information and data and happy moments and food that you've eaten and experiences that are going to serve, conversations that you've had with them. They're linked. They're all linked. So you cannot just wipe that person from your mind. So if you used to listen to a song with your abuser and that song comes on the stupid radio, your brain is going to remember him by default. It's probably going to remember some other things too, like maybe the food you were eating, like maybe how you felt the last time you heard that song. Maybe you were at the beach when you used to play that song and it was cool. But right now you're so fixated, hyper fixated on the narcissist, on the ending of that toxic relationship, that's what the brain is going to focus on. When you hear that song, you're already feeling like a zombie. You're already feeling all mopey and sad. You've been ruminating nonstop. That song comes on, and it's like, oh, it just stabs you right in the heart. And you feel it in your stomach, and you feel it in your solar plexus, right? It's a horrible, horrible feeling. Especially if you study the facts about your relationship, you realize that was a bad relationship to be in. If anything, you should be happy that you dodged the bullet because you're out of the relationship. And yet, this is what's happening. Now, you know what really bothers me is that oftentimes these songs that you associate so deeply with your psychopath, narcissist, abusive, piece of crap, scumbag, loser, are songs that before you met that pathetic bum, those songs used to make you really happy. You probably had an association of a happier memory with that song. Maybe someone else that you were dating and life was good. And maybe you had an amicable breakup, and that song really doesn't trigger any negative emotions because you didn't experience trauma. And now you associate that song with your narcissist scumbag, and now that memory has been replaced. That brain association has been replaced with the newest one. You want to break this cycle? I want you to listen to that stupid song, right? It's a stupid song because it's playing in Walmart. So I must be playing out of some stupid playlist or some trendy radio stuff. Anyway, I digress. Start listening to that song and do other activities while you listen to the song. Purposely think of something amazing, because what we're trying to do here is retrain our brain. We're trying to, in a way, brainwash that old memory, that old association with a new one. Start purposely going to do, like, let's say maybe you're going to start going to the gym, okay? You put that song on right before you start your first set, or your first circuit, or whatever you're going to do in your workout, okay? And you do that. When you're done with that exercise, you start on another exercise, boom, pop the song again, right? And you do this every day, and you're going to see that eventually the brain is just going to make an association. When it listens to that song, it's going to think of that workout. It's going to think of that circuit that you were doing. Another example, you may not like to exercise, but let's say you're going to drive to the beach, right? There's certain songs I listen to when I'm going to the beach. Like I like to listen to the Top Gun soundtrack, right? Makes me feel happy, right? It makes me think of throwing the football around on the shore of the water and just vibing and doing cool stuff, right? So makes me think of the sun, beach, girls, great stuff, right? So do the same thing. Pick somewhere that you want to go where you're going to have a great time, and you listen to that song as you're on your way. And every time you go, you put that song. I know it may sound so simple, it may sound silly, but guys, this is the way the brain works. It's not fair that your favorite song is now tainted because of an abusive, malignant, low-life, loser scum narcissist. It's like they steal the things that you love. They steal them. They don't even know they're stealing them, but they steal them. And now, oh, great. Now I can't watch that movie. That used to be my favorite movie, but every time I watch that movie, I think of her. Every time that song comes on, oh no, that used to be my favorite song. I can't imagine being a songwriter and you can't listen to your own music because you used to listen to your songs with your narcissist ex. And now your own songs have a negative association. No, that cannot fly. You have to erase that association, and the only way you can erase it is by replacing it. You can't erase it, you can't delete it. You replace it with a new association. Let me give you one final example, because I hate when this happens too, is when you can no longer go to a favorite restaurant because you used to go a lot with your narcissist ex. So now you avoid the restaurant. And when you drive by the street and you glance at the restaurant, that knife, right? You feel that knife stabbing you deeper, right? No. Invite one of your friends. Invite one of your friends right now. Invite a few friends. Go to that restaurant. Knock yourself out. Order everything you want. You can order you can order your favorite meal again, or you can order something totally different. As a matter of fact, I would encourage you to order something different. I would encourage you to sit on the opposite side of the booth. If you guys always had that corner booth, right? And the server sits you there, because that's how, there are no coincidences. These things just work out that way. They put you in that same booth. Purposely sit on the opposite side that you always would. Just do it. I've done this so many times. Sometimes I'll sit in the same place and I'm like, nah, nope. And I'll get up and I sit in the other one, and immediately it's like a transformation happens. The minute I sit on the other side of the table, it's like, oh, wow, I've never sat here before. Now you're seeing the restaurant from a different angle, right? The brain is not recalling these old associations. It's forming new associations. That's what you need to do. But to do this takes work. Because it's a lot of willpower. Your brain is going to fight you on this. Your brain wants to coast. It wants to be on autopilot. It doesn't want your input. It thinks that it's going to keep you safe by doing these things for you. That's another way the brain works. No. You're the master of your own mind. You got to tell your brain what you want to think. You got to tell your brain, nope, we're going to think about this now. That song came on, I'm going to have this thought now. And you bring that thought. And when that thought leaves you and the narcissist tries to somehow get inside your head, you acknowledge it, you push it to the side. This is all visualization. Push it to the side. You bring up the thought that you actually want to have. All right? Eventually, that song is going to inspire you to do whatever you decided to associate it with. Eventually, that restaurant, let me tell you one more thing about the restaurant. After you do what I said, you go with a bunch of friends, you sit on the opposite side of the table, you order something different on the menu. Next time, it doesn't happen that day. Next time you think about going to that restaurant, I promise you this. Your brain is going to remember the great time you had with your friends. That doesn't mean that the memory of the psychopath or the narcissist is completely replaced, but I can tell you that you will remember the last time you went. Guaranteed. I've done this thousands of times throughout the course of my life, even before I was entangled with a monster like this. Okay, I remember when I couldn't even go back to Universal Studios in my early 20s because I went with my sweetheart and then we broke up, and I was sad and I was like, no, I can't go because I'm going to think of her. It was so sad. I remember this chick was asking me to go. She had a boyfriend, so naturally I wasn't going to be the third wheel, but she was so hot. Anyway, I digress. I don't know why she was inviting me. I wonder why they ended up breaking up. Anyway, I remember I told her I couldn't go because it was too sad, and she got mad, and she said, what the hell? Like, nah, you have to go, blah, 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 blah. And I didn't go. Anyway, I ended up going a year later with my friends, had a great time. And then that memory was that's it. It was replaced. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even thinking about it. When I went, sure, I was like, I would look and I would see the familiar, I would see the rides. I would see some of the spots that we would take pictures at. And I was like, oh, man. But since I was with friends, I was having a good time. The vibes were high. I was able to look at those things and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. We took a picture there. Yeah, that sucks. But, man, I'm here now with my friends and I feel good, right? And boom, moved on. Boom, and moved on. Boom, moved on. To this day, like I remember I think it was Islands of Adventure. I went to a couple of years ago. I told the story to some of the survivors on my coaching program. So if you're watching this, you know what I'm going to say. But I remember I went by myself because I wanted to go up there and visit a friend, and I wanted to go to the theme park, and he didn't want to come. So, okay, I'm going to go alone. And I met this girl that was also there alone, and we started chatting her up. Turns out she was there from another country. She was there from Argentina. I was like, what the hell? We're talking Spanish. Not my favorite way to game, but that's what happened. And we ended up spending the whole day together at the park. I was in shock. Like we rode that ride, and then we kept going, and we spent the whole day until she had to get back on her bus. And I remember passing by a particular spot that, 25 years ago, I was there with my sweetheart, and I was like, and I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, like, wow, I remember that little spot. And it's like, I felt something, but it wasn't like a traumatic feeling. It was more like, just, it's life. It's part of my story. It's part of my life experience. It's something I lived through, and I was young, and it was young love, and the whole story behind that. And I just saw it, and I just, I smiled. I didn't take a picture with the new girl there or anything like that, but I didn't even mention it to her. I looked and I felt some sort of comfort. And I remember there was a time that I was too sad to even fathom going back to that theme park in particular and seeing those things. And time heals wounds. And the quicker, how do I say the quicker, but the more work you do, right, the more action you take to heal, to reframe these traumatic thoughts, the more you want it, the faster you'll get there. That's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight. That's why I have a coaching program. I like to accelerate your path to healing. I like to accelerate your path to a better life, okay? Because time does heal wounds, but there's one thing that I can tell you. When you go through narcissistic abuse, this could last you for 20 years. You could never date again, never do any type of healing work, just live a normal life, just go to work, come home, ruminate, go to work, come home, ruminate. You have your weekends off, you're sad, you don't do anything, you don't go to the places you used to love, you don't bother making new friends. This is never going to go away. You're going to be in darkness for the rest of your life. There's just something about it. It's not a normal breakup. It's psychological. It's not your heart. It's psychological. Okay? You can develop a fear of snakes when you're little, and you'll have that fear for the rest of your life unless you break away from that trauma. And to do that, unfortunately, you're going to have to get some hands-on, some exposure theory to see that your snakes are harmless or whatever. Not many people are willing to do that. You have a fear of heights. You're going to have to start climbing up and jumping off cliffs and bungee jumping and doing things like that. And eventually you condition yourself to it, and you're not afraid. You have to do the thing that scares you to develop courage, right? You have to do the thing that scares you. So you have to get the thing that has you traumatized is the thing you have to conquer. If you're afraid of being alone, you have to work on that. It doesn't go away by itself. So if you want to work directly with me, I encourage you, reach out, see if we're a good fit for each other. I'll give you some more information on what we do on the program. I have a link below in the description, so make sure you check that out before you go. But things are going to get better. Things are going to get better once you learn how to reprogram, how to reframe these thoughts. You're going to find that this is a skill that you can implement to a lot of different areas of your life. And you're going to see how even if you're not inspired to do work, like you're a procrastinator, right? There's associations with that. There's associations that have been formed in your brain that when it's time to get an activity done, your brain shuts down and you get distracted and you avoid it and you procrastinate and you develop more fear. But there are ways to reprogram that, to reframe those thoughts to where you have something to do. You actually get excited to jump in and get busy, because the minute you start that thing that you're afraid to do, the minute you start, you're already on your way to finishing it. If you never start, you're far from the finish line. But the minute you start, it's like, okay, what comes after start? End. If this is your starting point, and maybe I should do this here. If this is your starting point, right, and you're going here, but you're like back here, you haven't even started. You're not in this buffer. You're not even inside it. You have to jump in. You have to jump in. If you're trying to learn how to surf, you got to get in the water. If you want to learn how to skate, you got to get on the board, right? You got to do it. You got to do it. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. So I hope you got some value out of this video. Before you go, be sure to check out this video I did here on the narcissist envy. Okay, this is something that's not discussed often, but the narcissists do envy you. They envy you for the light that you have inside. They envy you for the things that they wish they had. They envy you for the love that you have and are able to give and receive, that love that they will never feel and they will never be able to give away. So be sure to click on that to watch that video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.